Before we get into today's video, I wanted to give a huge thank you to the channel sponsor as well as today's video sponsor, which is Floodgate Games. And today I'm going to be chatting about their upcoming release, which is Skyrockets. Skyrockets is available right now for pre-order on the Floodgate Games website, but will be coming to retail on January 23rd, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But in Skyrockets, players will be playing together cooperatively, trying to have the best fireworks show. So this is a real-time game where players on your turn will be playing down a card. That card will have different colors on them, and those will represent the different sand timers. When you play down a card, you must flip over those coordinating colors. And if you do ever run out of sand on one of the sand timers, unfortunately, some of the crowd does leave because one of your fireworks was not able to go off on time, which is not great. But I do also want to add that this is a scenario-driven game, so as a group, you will be going through a bunch of different festivals, different scenarios that you can go through as a group, trying to get the best score in all of the different festivals. So if this sounds like something that you would enjoy, be sure to check it out either on the Floodgate Games website or coming to retail on January 23rd. Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden, and welcome to my video for my most anticipated games of this year, of 2024. I'm so excited to do this one. I am doing this before I'm doing any of my best of 2023 videos because I am really wanting to make sure I play lots of the 2023 releases. I'm trying to get in as many as I possibly can before I make those lists. So I've been playing some for the beginning of January all through December, and I'm also trying to get in a few other ones before the end of January. And then I think in February I will most likely start coming out with those videos. But today I am going to be moving forward and chatting about my most anticipated games that are coming out in 2024. So if you guys want to see that, then just keep on watching. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy. Also hit the subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. And without further ado, let's get into my most anticipated games of 2024. Shall we? All right, so before we get into the actual top 10 or 10 games, there's actually not 10, there's like 14, but it's okay. But before we get into those ones that are on my laptop, I do have a list of games that I actually covered here on the channel and some that I will be covering in the near future. I wanted to mention Wild Gardens is one that I'm very excited about fulfilling in 2024. There's also Critter Kitchen. Unconscious Mind is one that I believe is going to be fulfilling soon. Fingers crossed. I'm super excited about that one. Andromeda's Edge I played at the end of 2022, and I believe that was supposed to be fulfilling in 2024, so that's really exciting. We have Stone Spine Architects from Thunderworks Games. We have Mycelia, which is a mushroom game, very fun mushroom game. Dragon Eclipse from Awakened Realms, The Old King's Crown, and then I believe there were two that I've mentioned, or I believe these actually were two that I mentioned in last year's most anticipated. The first one is Flow, which I mentioned, like I said, in last year's most anticipated, and that one hasn't come to crowdfunding yet, and it will be coming to crowdfunding very soon. I know that because I do have a copy of it on its way to me because I will be covering it on the channel, which I am so excited about. And then the other one is Witchbound, which is a solo-only kind of adventure game where you're going through this story as a witch. And it's kind of like this choose your own adventure. The cover of this board game is absolutely gorgeous. I actually follow the publisher on Twitter and they post a ton, or I guess it's called X now, but they post a ton over there of the progress that they're making on Witchbound. And then I've also followed the campaign, so I always see the updates when they post about them. And it's just so cool seeing all of the progress that they've been making on Witchbound, so I'm excited about that one. But as for games that I'm going to be covering within the next few months, these are ones that I'm hoping will, obviously be crowdfunding in the beginning of 2024 and possibly will be fulfilling towards the end of 24, maybe early 2025. So the first one is Conservas, I believe is how you pronounce it. It is from Salt and Pepper Games, and I recently have fallen in love with a lot of their solo-only games. There's Resist as well as Witchcraft, which I absolutely love that game. So I'm really excited to be covering Conservas. And then there's also The Presence, which is a very cool semi-cooperative horror-themed game. Everstone Discovering Ignis, Gems of Iridecia, En Route, Cascadia Rolling, which is the like roll and write version of Cascadia, Love Struck, and then a few of them, these are ones that I'm not so much covering, but I have played. And the first one is Galactic Cruise. Oh my goodness, such a fantastic game. I'm so excited for that one. Also one that I actually technically did cover in 2023, which is Mistwind. That one I'm really excited about. Moon Rollers I played at PAX Unplugged. Really enjoyed that one, as well as River Valley Glassworks. Metro Runner is one that I quickly got a little overview of from Thunderworks Games. I'm excited for that. And then I do have, or I have pledged for Creature Caravan from Red Raven Games, which is, I think, currently my only game that I have pledged. Aside from the expansion for Planet Unknown, I do have, or I have backed that one. Creature Caravan's the only, like, actual game that I am backing right now, and I'm so excited about that one. So, but yes, that is a big list of just some games that I have covered in the past, will be covering, have played, all of those. I just wanted to quickly go over those ones so you guys kind of know of those ones, and that I will not be including them on this list. So this list here that I'm going to be getting into is all games that I kind of just have seen here and there, and they're games that I am really excited to hear more about and see more and play in 2024. So let's get into them. All right, so the first game that I wanted to mention is from one of my favorite publishers, and that is Garphill Games. This is one that they did have a crowdfunding campaign for in 2023, and I skipped out on backing it just because I don't back a ton of stuff on Kickstarter or on crowdfunding in general. It's just not something that I can really fork out money for. So unfortunately I did have to pass on this one, but it is one that once it comes to retail, I'll hopefully be able to pick it up or get a review copy of it to cover here on the channel. But that is Ezra and Nehemiah. This is, or looks like, a fantastic game where they've kind of just like, I think someone said something about it being like a love letter to all other Garphill games or something like that, where they've kind of brought a lot of what all of their other games that a lot of people know and love have, and kind of put them all into this game about Ezra and Nehemiah. And you are pretty much just helping rebuild the walls and the temple of the returning exiles of ancient Jerusalem. So it does have a theme that I'm like not super, you know, into. I'm not really much into like history and stuff, but I do appreciate it, and it does look like a fantastic game, and I've always enjoyed Garphill Games. They are some of my favorite games, and I am just really excited to play this one, try this one out. It looks very fun, trying to like rebuild the outer walls and doing all of the typical Garphill Games things. So I'm very excited about Ezra and Nehemiah. And I do also quickly want to mention there is a game coming from Garphill Games from Bobby Hill, which, if you guys do not know, Bobby Hill is the designer of Hadrian's Wall, and he is coming out with a new game called The Anarchy. And this is actually supposed to be coming out. It has a published date of 2025. So I didn't want to really include it in this video, but I do want to mention it because I know it's been announced, and a lot of people are probably going to be like, Jenna, like, did you hear there's like another game coming from the same guy who made Hadrian's Wall? It's supposed to be kind of like a follow-up to Hadrian's Wall, and you guys, I'm so excited for it. You have no idea. But it does say that it's going to be getting published in 2025, so I'm assuming the crowdfunding campaign will be in 2024, but it will not fulfill until 2025. So maybe I'll be able to cover it for the crowdfunding campaign and actually get to try it. But if not, I am okay to wait until 2025, and I am just so excited. I will most likely back it. Anyways, Ezra and Nehemiah, The Anarchy, very excited for all things Garphill Games in the future. Moving on to the next game. This is a game all about cheese, which I do love me some cheese. I'm a huge fan of cheese and crackers and meats and charcuterie boards and just all things cheese. I do love cheese. That game is Fromage, which this is from Road to Infamy Games, or R2I Games. They are the same people that brought you Canvas, which is a fantastic game. And this one, like I said, is all about cheese. And basically you are cheesemakers competing to run the most prosperous creamery in France. And the really cool thing about this game is that there's actually like a spinning board, and you are actually doing like worker placement on the section of the board that is in front of you. So each turn you're actually going to be spinning that board, and you're going to be doing some sort of worker placement on a different part of the board, which I think is very cool. Your workers are little pieces of cheese, and it just looks like such a fun and very interesting theme for a game. I really like that. And also it is simultaneous worker placement, which I think is really cool and something that I think people that I personally play with will enjoy. So yes, that is Fromage. Next one is a game that I actually heard of quite a long time ago, and this actually comes from Lavalier Games, which if you've heard of Lavalier Games before, they are actually a store that sells meeple stickers, and I've always been interested in purchasing meeple stickers from them to upgrade my games. But behind the scenes, they've actually been working on their own game, and that is Gnome Holo. So this is the most adorable looking game about gnomes, and you're going to be building mushroom rings, harvesting mushrooms, and then carrying them to a market and selling them at a market, I guess. And pretty much just building out your little garden as a gnome, which I think is just the cutest thing ever. And it's actually coming out from the op, so I think they are working together with the op to bring this one to fruition, and it just looks so fantastic. Gnome Holo, the art is adorable. I do believe that the art is actually done by the designer as well, because they did all of the art for their meeple stickers as well. So I think it's Eamon Anderson. You are very talented, designer and artist for this game, and then also makes meeple stickers on the side. Awesome, wonderful, super excited to see more about this one. It is more of like a worker placement with some tile placement, set collection, all of the things that I love in a game, so excited about that one. Moving on to a roll slash flip and write. I'm not 100% sure. I believe this one is a roll and write, but it is from the same people that brought you Fleet the Dice game, Three Sisters, as well as Motor City. It is from Motor City Gameworks, and the fourth one coming is called French Quarter. This was one that, again, I wish I could have backed in 2023. There was a campaign for this in 2023. I saw it. I wanted to back it, I should have backed it, but I didn't. But I'm very excited for this one to eventually come to retail. I do believe this one is coming to retail pretty soon. It's coming to retail with 25th Century Games, and like all the other ones. And I do believe that I saw a picture of 25th Century Games booth at like some sort of convention, and they had copies of French Quarter. So it does seem like it is happening sooner than you think, and I'm so excited to get my hands on French Quarter. I will say though that I haven't even played Motor City yet. I do have Motor City and I need to play it, but honestly the whole like car theme for Roll and Write doesn't really bring me in, but I know I'm going to enjoy it because I love all of the other ones. But French Quarter being that like explore the French Quarter while enjoying food, culture, partying, and more, it just, that theme appeals to me a lot more than cars. So very excited for this one. That is French Quarter. Moving into the next game, I don't know a ton about this game, but I do know that it is designed by Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia has quickly become a designer in my mind to look out for, because he actually designed Barcelona as well as Arborea, and these are two games that I played in 2023 that I have fallen in love with. I have loved both of these games very much. I don't have Arborea myself, but I do really want to get it because I played it recently with some friends, and it is wonderful. Both of them are designed by Danny Garcia, and this is the next one coming from him, and that is Daoshi, I believe. It is coming from Devere, and Devere actually makes some fantastic games, some of my favorite games as well, that I've enjoyed very much in the past, and it kind of gives me like steampunk vibes, which it's kind of funny that it gives me steampunk vibes because the theme of it is that you're using the power of steam to do business and expand your factory in the big city. So I guess it's kind of meant to look steampunky, and basically you're going to, I don't really know a lot of like it doesn't have any sort of mechanisms listed yet, but it says you're either going to produce or move your magnet to a new district in which you will be able to send your workers to work. So you actually get to like move to different spots where your workers can then be placed. So it's this interesting like movement or like area segregation kind of worker placement. So I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, I just really like the way this looks. Again, I'm mainly interested in this one because it is designed by Danny Garcia, and I do know that I love the way that his games play, and just like the chaining that I have experienced in both Barcelona and Arborea, I just have really enjoyed. So that's why I am very, very excited to check out Daoshi by Devere Games. Moving on to another game that the main reason I am interested in this one is that it is designed by a designer that I know I love, and that is Stefan Feld. He has designed the Castles of Burgundy, obviously, and that is one of my favorite games of all time. And this one here is called Civ Olution. It looks fantastic. It's from Deep Print Games, and looking at the pictures of what this game entails is crazy. It is a 4 out of 5 in weight, and the amount of space that this game takes up is a little bit scary, I will say. Each of the players' like main boards is like a pretty large amount of space, but it looks fantastic. It looks very much like a Stefan Feld game, and the different mechanisms are area movement. There's a lot of like dice usage, which obviously in the Castles of Burgundy, dice is like a big part of it and a big part of, I guess, what Stefan Feld likes to do, because there's more dice in Civ Olution, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it is a heavier game, and you are going to be utilizing a dice selection mechanism to trigger actions on a tech tree-like structure. So that's going to be what your big board is, and there's just like a bunch of different things going on, and you're going to be using your dice and putting your unique cards into play. And I guess there's a ton of strategies and paths to victory. And I just know I'm going to enjoy it, or at least I hope I'm going to enjoy it, because I do enjoy Stefan Feld games. So yes, that is Civ Olution. Next up is a game from a publisher that I saw. They actually published or crowdfunded a game last year called Botany. The publisher, I don't really know how to pronounce it, but I will do my best. It's Duxomnium Games, but they actually did a crowdfunding campaign for Botany, and it was quite successful. I didn't end up backing Botany. Again, I don't back too many things on Kickstarter, but it looks absolutely amazing. It is very much my style of game, a very board garden game with the theme, obviously with Botany. And basically in Botany, you are flower hunters competing to find fortune and fame and be named the Royal Botanist. So that one, you're kind of going around a map and discovering different flowers. And this year, they're actually, I don't know if this one's going to be a straight to retail type thing. It does say on BGG that it's getting published in 2024, so I don't know if it's going straight to retail or if it is getting crowdfunded in 2024 and not released until 2025. But this game is their next game. It looks very similar, or has a very similar aesthetic to Botany, and this one is Lavalier. So this one says, botanists create their dream gardens in Rococo France. So like I said, it's on that same kind of path as Botany, where in Botany you are discovering flowers, and then I guess in Lavalier you are kind of building out your gardens and trying to be the best at it in particularly Rococo France. So it looks gorgeous. I love the look of it. Obviously, I do love me some flowers and a beautiful game. You're basically, it kind of gives me the vibe of Obsession, but with more like botanist and like flowers, that sort of vibe to it. So I'm very excited to see more about this one. There's not a ton like about it in here. The only image is the front cover image, and that's all I'm kind of going by. And the fact that I really want to also try Botany as well. So Yes, that is Lavalier as well as Botany. So moving on to the next one. This one actually gives very similar vibes to Lavalier and Botany and kind of gives that same obsession feeling. And this one is called Epistocracy. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but you guys will see how it's spelled. This one looks very fancy and very feminine, just like the others. And this one is currently being self-published, and it looks fantastic. I believe the main mechanisms in this one, which is very interesting, is worker placement, hand management, set collection, trick taking, variable player powers. A lot of these things that I just mentioned are some of my favorite mechanisms, and having trick taking in there just like grabs my attention. I think that's very, very cool. I've more and more recently been playing like larger games that have trick taking as part of the game, and I've really been enjoying them. I recently played Brian Boru, which I really enjoyed. The Old King's Crown, which was one that I covered here on the channel, I really enjoyed as well. Which typically when you think of trick taking, you think of just a simple card game. Whereas these bigger games kind of incorporate trick taking as like a smaller part of the game. I think it's very cool to see that in more games. So this one I'm very, very excited about. I guess it says that you are invited to the card rooms, tea rooms, and ballrooms of Victorian London. And I guess you are kind of part of the social season, kind of the same vibes as Obsession, where you are trying to get the attention of one of the heirs. And just overall, the aesthetic of this one has really caught my eye, and the fact that it has trick taking in it, it just has me very intrigued. So that is Epistocracy, I believe. So moving into number 9, this one is one that I believe is coming straight to retail. And this one is coming from Arcane Wonders. It is designed by Daryl Andrews, who is a friend of mine, and I think he told me about this one quite a long time ago, and he was working with Wolfgang Kramer. I don't know if I've ever played any of Wolfgang's games, but this one is called Ley Lines, and it looks absolutely adorable. I love the theme of it. It's very like magical creatures sort of thing. And basically it says, gather magical resources from the land and seek out markets to sell at. So it is a very much kind of market, like merchant kind of selling the goods that you create kind of thing, which I think is one of my favorite things. I do love a good merchant game. And basically in the game, you are going to be collecting resources in a forest and then bringing them back along the ley lines to the markets to sell them. But you do have to be aware that the magical merchants pay different amounts depending on what they are interested in. So I guess there's a bunch of different merchants that are going to be purchasing these different goods from you, and I'm assuming there's like different kind of mechanisms in there that make it difficult in order to sell to the specific ones that you want and what specific resources to sell to who and that sort of thing. So that has really caught my eye, and recently I have been discovering a lot of great games from Arcane Wonders. So Arcane Wonders is definitely up there on one of the publishers that I'm starting to really enjoy a lot of their games. So yes, that is Ley Lines. Very excited about that one. And then moving into number 10, this is one that I was introduced to slightly at PAX Unplugged. I went to a kids table board game, or KTBG, little event, and they had a big poster up for this one, and that is Capybaras. So this is a game about capybaras owning cafes, and this theme just has me. I freaking love capybaras, and I also just love coffee themed games, you guys know. So yes, when I saw that they were going to be releasing this game in 2024, I immediately was like, that is going to be one of the top games for me in 2024. This is actually coming from Roberta Taylor, which she is the designer of Creature Comforts, which is one of my favorite cozy games. I absolutely love Creature Comforts. So this one coming from Roberta and being about a cafe and running a cafe with capybaras just has me. I love this so much. It says, build your own cozy cafe and turn your drop-ins into regulars. I can't. I did get a small like version of it, I guess. They were giving out a little 18 card version of Capybaras. That's just like a little sneak peek at what to expect in the full version. So I do have that. I still need to play it, which I'm very, very excited about. But yes, it looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic. And I cannot wait to get into this one, see how it plays and all of that. So that is Capybaras. I will quickly add the different mechanisms to expect in Capybaras, which is card drafting and tableau building, which tableau building is just one of my favorite mechanisms. So I'm very, very excited to see what all of that entails. So yeah, that is number 10. That is Capybaras. All right, and lastly, I do want to mention a few button shy games. Basically, I guess I don't know if they do this typically, but at the beginning of 2024, or actually it was pretty late in 2023, they released a picture of all of the games that they anticipate releasing in 2024, and they usually release about one per month. So they put up this picture of a bunch of different card games, their little wallet-sized games, and the three that caught my eye, the first one is a nice cuppa, which the little thing says, the most relaxing game in the Simply Solo line. It's a solo game about coffee, and it's their most relaxing of them all. That does not sound like it can be more Jenna than that. So a nice cuppa, I am very, very excited about. That's probably my number one. It's also by Scott Elms, which I do love a lot of his games that he has made. And then we also have Glass Garden, which this one says, grow a terrarium of succulents while avoiding bugs. So this is all about growing a garden of succulents. It is a solo game as well. Maintaining resources to grow a terrarium of succulents while avoiding bugs. So yeah, it only says mechanism is solo/solitaire game. So there's not a ton on this one. There's not any pictures or anything, but Glass Garden was another one that caught my eye. And then lastly, for their releases, they have Aqua Rove coming out, which Rove, I believe, is still currently my favorite of the Button Shy games. I love Rove. It is a fantastic little game, and they are coming out with Aqua Rove. So I'm assuming it's just Rove is now a submarine, and there's some like different cards and stuff. I'm assuming it's going to play pretty similarly, but it says Rove is back and wetter than ever. I love that so much. So that is Aqua Rove. Oh, there actually is one picture. So yeah, it does look like the Rove is a little submarine now, and it does look very similar to just normal Rove. It just looks like a little bit of an updated version with a little bit of varying play from the original Rove. So if you've played that a ton and want something slightly different and more content similar to that, then this will be your go-to. But yes, those were the three that I saw from that picture. I'm sure there's other ones there that I will be interested in, but just based off of the titles, those were the ones that really caught my eye. And then lastly, I do want to just mention this one because this sounds so just crazy to me that this is a game being produced right now. There is a game called Kallax, the board game. This is literally a game where you are tidying up your board games and putting them back on your Kallax. It looks as if everyone has their own little Kallax, and you are putting different size boxes onto these Kallax or into these Kallax cubes and fitting them in a particular way. It is just so funny to me. It says, when tidying up your shelves becomes a hell of a game. I love this so much. It says, in Kallax, your goal will be to fill your shelf with game boxes, following placement instructions, the right game in the right place for the best collection ever. Oh my goodness. I just wanted to quickly mention that one because it was just so funny to me that someone is making a game about putting board games back on a shelf, which is one of my favorite things ever, is organizing my board games. So anyways, yes. That's that. So that is going to be everything for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know down in the comments what games you are most excited about in 2024. Also give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy, and hit that subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. But yeah, I do feel like 2024 is going to be a great year of games. I am so excited for all of these and even more. I'm sure there's going to be so many other games coming to crowdfunding and coming straight to retail that we don't even know of yet. So yet again, another year of a lot of board games, a lot of new board games. I will say right now that I do want to focus a lot on playing the games that I already have here in my collection more. I feel like in 2023, I was very just like focused on new games, but I really want to play games in my collection that I have had for a while that I know I just absolutely love. On top of playing new games, I know as a content creator, I'm always gonna have to be playing new games, and I absolutely love it, but I do want to kind of balance it out more and play a lot of the older games that I love over and over again, as well as playing new games and discovering new games. So yeah, I'm excited about 2024. Hopefully you guys are as well, and hopefully you have a good rest of your day. I love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends.